All right, welcome back for this Star Trek rewatch. We do this every Thursday, and we have made it up to the episode titled The Paradise Syndrome. I'll read the entry from Alan Ashman's Star Trek Compendium, give some of my thoughts as we go along, then I'll close out and leave it open to you in the comment section to let me know what you think about this one. All right, The Paradise Syndrome, season number 3, episode 3. Writer was Margaret Arman. The director was Judd Taylor. Stardate 4842.6. Beaming down to a beautiful Earth-like planet threatened by collision with a huge asteroid, Kirk, Spock, and McCoy discover a village of peaceful tribesmen, akin to American Indians. Now, this is, Spock says that they're a mixture of, what does he say, Delaware, Navajo, and something else. I don't know how he came to that conclusion, but it's weird. Evidently, these people didn't choose to settle there. We're going to find out later on that they were placed on this planet, but we'll get to that. But near their village is a huge obelisk covered with incomprehensible writing. As Kirk explores the structure, he falls through a trap door and is exposed to a strange ray that renders him unconscious. Pretty great piece of acting here by Shatner. Made me laugh. He gets like hit by electricity and like his eyes roll back in his head, and just his acting performance had me busted up. I thought it was funny. All right. Anyways, McCoy and Spock fail to find him and are forced to return to the Enterprise to destroy the asteroid, or to try to divert its course. Anyways, McCoy and Spock have a debate about staying, and Spock says, we've got to get to a diversion point to divert this asteroid, or it's going to slam into this planet and kill everyone, including Captain Kirk. So they have to leave. Kirk revives, suffering from partial amnesia, and is discovered by the Indians, who revere him as a god. He first comes into contact with a woman named Miramani, who is the priestess of the village and her handmaiden, right? And evidently there's some sort of prophecy that some god is going to come and save the village. So, yeah, I don't know. There's an incident where like a boy drowns and Kirk uses mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to revive him, which convinces everybody that he's a god, because only a god can breathe life back into a dead body. So yeah, interesting mouth-to-mouth resuscitation technique. Kirk is pumping the person's legs. I guess, was that standard practice back in the day? I don't know. In with the good air, out with the bad. In with the good air, out with the bad. Uh, the Enterprise fails to fracture the asteroid. They can't divert it. Scotty's freaking out the whole time about Mr. Spock's gonna melt everything and the engines down. Then Spock like diverts the ship ahead of the asteroid, tries to use full phaser power to like blast it in half. It doesn't work. They burn out the Enterprise's warp engines, and they have to proceed on impulse power ahead of this asteroid. And it's going to take like 4 months to get back to the planet. Or is it 3 months? No, I think Spock's is 59 days, right? So like 2 months. They're going to have 4 hours by the time they get to the planet to find Kirk and get out of there before the asteroid impacts and destroys everything. Meanwhile, Spock like starts studying the tapes, and he thinks that the key to the whole operation, or the key to saving the planet, is the obelisk with the strange alien glyphics on it. McCoy keeps walking in and telling him, you haven't eaten for weeks. And Spock is like, I don't need to eat. And he goes back to his meditation. All the stuff between Spock and McCoy in this episode was fantastic. Let's see here. During the time that the ship is traveling at sublight speeds, right? Kirk has fallen in love and married the beautiful priestess Miramani. Actually, according to like tribal law, she's betrothed to the medicine man. And after Kirk like saves the little boy, they take the man, which what's his name here? Salish, I think is his name. Salish, played by Rudy Solari. They take his badge, his medicine man emblem away from him and give it to Kirk, which causes resentment. And he was also betrothed to Miramani, which now Kirk is going to marry her. So this dude has beef. He's feels slighted. He's lost his position and his woman. So he doesn't like, Kurok. Kirk has been named his name. Tries to remember his name, and he says Kur. The village elder says Kurok, so that's what he gets called. We'll get a lot of that name later on, right? Spock deciphers the writings on the obelisk, which his tricorder has recorded, and he learns that an ancient race called the Preservers had seeded the planet and provided an asteroid deflector housed within the obelisk. So, yeah, this is interesting. Panspermia, right? Like the idea that aliens have seeded planets. That's one of the theories that people have come up with about Earth. I don't buy into it, but here we have panspermia, almost like an Eric von Däniken's Tribute of the Gods type scenario taking place on this alien planet. So evidently, they must have captured Native Americans from Earth and put them there. I mean, that's my theory. That's what the episode seems to be saying. Kirk, now the medicine chief, has no idea how to activate the obelisk. It's an asteroid deflector. Salish's father died before he told Salish how to use the thing. It was a oral tradition that was passed down from father to son, from one medicine man to the next, and Salish doesn't know how to operate it, and Kirk surely doesn't. So the moment has come for him to activate this thing. He runs out to the obelisk, and he doesn't know how to get in, so he just starts shouting, "I am Kirk! I have come! I am Kirk!" And then, Salish shows up with a bunch of people from the village, and they all begin to stone Kurok, Captain Kirk. They begin to stone him to death as a false god. Miramani runs in, and she tries to stop it. And Salish is bitter, and he says, "Then you can die with him." So they begin to stone her as well. At this exact moment, the Enterprise arrives. Spock and McCoy beam down. They rescue Captain Kirk, Miramani. Spock mind melds with Kirk, restoring his memory. Reminding him or curing him of his amnesia, which point he sells bones to help Miramani. Spock and McCoy have Nurse Chapel beamed down with like a rescue aid kit, but it's really kind of too late to do anything to save her. Anyways, Kirk manages to get inside of the obelisk. He activates the deflector shield, knocking the asteroid away from the planet, saving the day. And then the episode ends with Miramani, who is pregnant, dying, as Kirk is speaking to her about happiness and how happy they are with each other. And it's really kind of a sad ending, which, there is no like comedic everybody laughing at the end, ha 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 ha, telling a lame joke. This one has a very dark ending, very similar to The City on the Edge of Forever, where Edith Keeler died. I don't think this one is as powerful as that one is, but it's kind of an emotionally impactful scene. I mean, his pregnant wife dies. It's pretty brutal. However, all of the "I am Kirk" that we get throughout this episode kind of, I don't know, it's tonally, it's supposed to be serious, but it doesn't quite work. And it made me laugh. Whereas City on the Edge of Forever had comedic bits in it, but they were actually supposed to be funny. Whereas the shouting of "I am Kirk" is tending towards unintentional comedy. So yeah. Anyways, I like this one. It's a bit on the cheese side. Um, I'd call it mid. It's a perfectly mid episode. It's it's memorable, maybe not for the right reasons. I am Kirk. Maybe I gotta. Yeah, there's a picture of him right there. Kirk in his buckskin shouting, "I am Kirk. I have come." Probably my favorite scene in the episode. Anyways, that's all I got. Let me know what you think about this one below. I don't know what we got next week. I didn't look ahead to see, but yeah, I enjoyed this. It had me laughing. All right. Thank you for watching. Till next time. Have a wonderful day.